We are back. And we're going to get right into it. I'm not going to spend too much time. Okay? We're not going to spend much time. We're going to get straight to it. But before we do here, I want to welcome you guys. There's a lot of stuff that we're going to cover tonight. I mean, it's going to be a lot. Now, there's something old. I'm not sure if the black media covered this, but I received an email. And it said, roundtable invitation. There's no place like home in the holidays. And this was December 13th. Okay? So it's basically the White House on advancing educational equity, excellence, and economic opportunity for black Americans. So the host was Alexis K. Holmes, executive director, the White House Initiative. So what they're saying is this roundtable will highlight the intersection between housing and education. Best and promising practices to support black student success will be discussed. They weren't talking about tangibles. They weren't talking about an anti-black crime racism bill. They weren't talking about giving black folks any grants. This is a whole bunch of... And then what they did, they knew that black folks were not really going for this buck-breaking intersectionality trash. So you see this symbol down here where it says the White House Initiative for Black Americans. You see a picture of a black family. Very nice picture indeed. But they're not really talking about anything specific. I probably should have joined it and recorded some of it. They had an event set up. Education, equity, excellence, economic opportunity for black Americans. But they didn't specifically say what they were going to do. So they wanted to kick that off. This was right before the holidays. They wanted to kick that off so they could try to get some little Negro excitement. They wanted to try to get some Negro excitement real quick. They wanted to see if they could get some Negroes to start thinking about casting a collard green vote. Because we know we're not going for that. Another thing that happened that you guys may not have known. Now, this is from the 16th. You remember that when those race soldiers killed that brother, them Louisiana race soldiers killed that brother? They charged them with negligent homicide, malfeasance. He was arrested on the 2019. They killed him. Authorities tried to blame it on a car crash before long suppressed body camera video showing white officers beating, stunning, and dragging the black motorist as he wailed, "I'm scared." These are the first criminal charges of any kind to emerge from Green's bloody death on a roadside in rural northeast Louisiana, a case that got little attention until an Associated Press investigation exposed a cover-up and prompted scrutiny of the top Louisiana police brass. A sweeping U.S. Department review of the agency and a legislative inquiry looking at what Governor John Bel Edwards knew and when he knew it. So what that's telling you is this was a cover-up completely. And I'm seeing a picture here where they're dragging him out. His legs are shackled. They're dragging him on his stomach. This was on May 10th, 2019. Now, these should have been second degree. As far as I'm concerned, these should have been first degree murder charges. Then I'm looking at this picture. They're trying to hold him up before the paramedics arrive. They killed this brother, as far as I'm concerned. They lynched it. That was a lynching. Did they talk about that? Are they going to talk about that on these little BS initiatives? Is you Popeye's Chicken Negro spiritual Negroes? Are y'all still talking about, well, we got to go vote for Master Biden? You know, if Trump get in. Where's all the if Trump get in people at? Where if Trump get in for 2024, we just ain't going to have no collard green. All our rights going to be gone. Where's the if Trump get in people at? Here's another article. I'm going to keep them coming. We're going to keep them coming. Let's get this music going too. We want to keep it going. Let's keep it going. Now, New Scientist, I found an article where they got biogel armor that could stop a supersonic projectile on its track. Now listen to this. A protein found in human cells has been repurposed to make a material that reforms it when struck by a projectile. This is some real Judge Dredd type of stuff. It says a gel made of protein found in human cells can capture particles traveling at supersonic speeds without destroying them on impact, suggesting the material could be used in body armor or for collecting space debris. Our cells contain a protein called talon that helps them sense and navigate their local environment in the body by changing structure in response to external forces. So the question is, who is going to be using this biogel armor? And who's going to be using the biogel armor to harm who? That's the question. Now you got to subscribe to read, but this is on newscientist.com. This is very interesting. Very, very interesting. Now let's go on to the next thing. Now for you folks running around here talking about, well, so-and-so's anti-Semitic and all this. This is how black folks are being treated in Israel. And he's telling black folks to get out of there. He's married to a nigga. You're married to a nigga. Get out. She has no shame. Get out of my country. That's what they're saying. Sudanese to Sudan. Go back to Sudan. This is my country. So she's in here shopping. They're shopping. And these race soldiers in Israel are telling the Sudanese people, you know, go back to your country. Go back. That's what they're saying. He's saying it's not too late. He said start rounding them up. We don't need to wait for the Supreme Court. He said round them up tomorrow morning. Then another guy, Coalition Whip Yariv Levin, said this is our home, this is our country. Hold on. He said this is not Eritrea. That's what he said. He said this is not Eritrea or Sudan. So I'm assuming there's a lot of Eritrean brothers and sisters and Sudanese brothers and sisters there that migrated there. Deputy Defense Minister Danny Damon, expel the infiltrators, protect Israel as a Jewish state. Interior Committee Chair Mary Rajiv, Sudanese are cancer in our body. Here's another person. Says, grant me all the tools without exception. In less than a year, not a single infiltrator will remain in the state of Israel. How can you call this expulsion? Every civilized country in the world will do the same. So he's talking about basically just getting them out of there. Now, if y'all notice, now listen, when it comes to white folks, they'll let them immigrate anywhere. You got Jim Crow Joe and these old kiss ass Negroes they want to bring in, and we gonna get into Mo Lightfoot. We gonna get into Chicago's drunk uncle in a little bit. They still sending tons of money over to Ukraine. Tons of money. Tons of money to Ukraine. When black folks go to different countries, they start talking like this to us. When black folks start going to other countries, this is how they're treated. Okay? That's how they're treated. Round them up. They're a cancer. They start talking like Nazis. Here's something else that I seen. Now, this. Brothers, you got to start watching out who you sleep with, okay? This has been going on, and this happened in December, but I want to cover it because I didn't cover it. You got to watch who you lay with. This hood rat gets on the phone, calls the race soldiers on his brother. And see, when you call the police on other black people, what happens is a lot of times when you call the police on other black people, what you're really doing is you're putting them in grave danger a lot of times. She's basically trying to get them to do something to this brother. Listen to this. Then she jumps up. She's lying. She's basically just saying anything at this point. He's not beating on her. She's not bloody. 404-416-1389. She's just all capoeira. Big Abraham Lincoln cap. It's like, come on, man.
404-416-1389. Brianna Hampton.
She just pepper sprayed me. She just pepper sprayed me for no reason in my house.
I can't keep following me.
No, I ain't following you nowhere. No, I don't have a gun. You really doing this lying stuff again? I'm recording everything.
Please hurry.
Yeah, please hurry, because she's crazy. Please hurry, she's crazy.
Thank you.
Please hurry up, she's crazy.
I can't keep following.
No, I'm not. I'm upstairs. You downstairs. Do what you do.
This nigga's on the second floor. Got a big ass house. Big ass overlooking house, nice wood floors. Man.
No, I'm not. Do what you do. I'm
404-416-404-416.
See, there should be like a law, man, where if you call the police on a nigga and it ain't true, you should go. That should be a felony. That should be a felony. That should be the Me 3 federal felony. The Me 3 federal felony act. We should have a Me 3 federal felony act, man. That's what we should have. Okay, what else we got? We're gonna keep going. Oh no, we already did that. We covered that last time. Now I did want to cover this. It was two sisters. Oh, they're not letting me watch it. Okay, hold on. Let's see. It was two sisters in Indiana that helped find a missing Ohio twin. Beautiful baby. Beautiful baby. Let's see if it'll let me go ahead and read it. Nah, it's too many. But to my knowledge, what the article was, it was some sisters and they deserve a damn medal of honor. But it was some dusty hood rat, and that's something that we got to start doing amongst the black population. Is we have to really start banning serial hood hitters, whorehouse hood rats that do this kind of stuff. She tried to steal a baby. I think she tried to steal two babies. I'm not sure, but it was this hood rat that tried to steal a baby, and two sisters did the investigation work that the police should have been doing. And ended up cracking the case. And made sure that this child got back safe. And Once I get a better article, I'll come back to that. Now, shout out to Buster for saying the U.S. ain't got no culture. Now, this is culture. Self-taught child prodigy, Sugar Child Robinson. The U.S. ain't got no culture. We are the culture. This little brother's getting it. Got the little white, corny looking sailors just watching. He's killing it. What's up, Akon? We ain't got no culture. Older descendants of slaves got the most culture. Niggas created jazz. Niggas created blues. That was here, nigga. Yeah, don't ever fix your mouth. Don't ever fix your mouth to disrespect the descendants, nigga. I'm locked up, they won't let me out. Yeah. You're locked up, they won't let you out. Remember whose culture you used to get on, my nigga. I didn't cover that last time. We're gonna have to do some more straightening on these Negroes. We're gonna have to do some more straightening on them. See, we got this. We got culture, nigga. Hold on. Wait a minute. Hold on. Let me see if I can find this story. Well, let me log in. Log in. I'm going to play a nice amount of DJ Fresh tonight. Okay, no, I want to say that. Okay, no. All right. Wait a minute.
In the court with no trial, lifestyle cruising blue Bahama waters, no welfare supporters, more conscious of the way we raise our daughters. Days are shorter, nights are colder.
What's that Akon about black rappers? What's that about American rappers, Akon? No disrespect to the diaspora. You ain't got no Nas in Senegal, nigga. You ain't got no Nas in Senegal. No, you ain't got that. Sorry. Ain't got it. You ain't got this either. You ain't got this either. Yeah. Shout out to Akon. Yeah. This is what you came up probably trying to listen to. Yeah.
Now this is a story all about
shout out to DJ Fresh.
Got flipped turned upside down, and I'd like to take a minute, just sit right there. I'll tell you how
you ain't have a DJ Jazzy Jeff and Will Smith. With a DJ Fresh to remix the beat. You ain't have a DJ Jazzy Jeff and a Will Smith back home, nigga. Talking all that slick stuff. Born and raised. Yeah. You didn't have it. Sorry. You didn't have this either, Akon. We could keep it going. You didn't have this either. You didn't have this over there, Akon. You didn't have it.
The only weapon is my rapping sword. I'm the P-double-M-D-E-E. And one thing I hate is a biting MC. When all these suckers always form a line, then they ease the way up and try to buy my life.
You didn't have this over there. You didn't have it. You just didn't have it. Let's keep it going. on, man. Shout out to DJ Fresh. DJ Fresh, all the credit goes to DJ Fresh, DJ Fresh, DJ Fresh. Yeah, you didn't have that over there, Akon. Oh, listen, a DJ Fresh and a Too Short album would be so dope.
Christmas time in Hollis, Queens. Mom's cooking chicken and collard greens.
Keep it going. Don't rock him over there either. Not even close.
Watching Wolf of Wall Street.
Oh, we can keep on going. It doesn't stop. It just doesn't stop. Before he decides to fix his mouth to say, oh, we got this too. We have this too. Oh yeah. Legends. We got legends. We have absolute legends here. We got this too. Sister Rosetta Tharpe. Original Godfather of rock and roll. He has to watch it. He has to watch what he says. Start pulling up these receipts. You ain't got that over there, do you, Akon? You don't. You sure don't. Sorry. Oh, you ain't got this either.
Oh my lord! Did you just pick Thriller?
See, they ain't. This is look. Mike Jack been dead for years. Mike Jack been dead for years. They took that nigga out and stole his catalog. They not gonna take you out and steal your catalog, Akon. They're not gonna do it. It's a little 2-year-old white girl on TikTok picking Thriller.
Oh my lord! Did you just pick Thriller?
I did.
You did?
It's Michael.
It's my
nigga.
It's my lord. Did you just pick Thriller?
I did.
You did?
It's Michael.
It's my It's Michael? Oh, are you scared?
Yeah, she seen that Thriller. She seen that She seen. I was gonna say Jeffrey Dahmer. No, she seen that. She seen that old, them old 1980s, that old Friday the 13th font. She said it's Michael. They're not gonna say, oh, it's Akon. Nigga, they ain't never gonna say that ever. Ever. They're not gonna do that. They're not gonna look at a video and then the chills run up your spine. The child picked the Thriller and said it's Mike Jack, nigga. The greatest. You ain't breaking that nigga's record for nothing. They're not gonna do that with Akon. Yeah, you don't get to speak on the descendants of the slaves, nigga. You don't get to speak on the descendants of the slaves, my nigga. No, you sure don't. You don't. Not at all. But let's continue on. We'll get back to Mr. Hater Man. Let's go to the next topic. We're going to keep it going. All right, it ain't going to let me see that. Okay, all right. Let's see here. Oh, now this is sickening. This is real sickening. And Crying Negro Network News, I'm trying to figure out why there's no outrage for this. And even if it was something where they were just using it just for clicks, that makes it even worse. What you're getting ready to hear is bad, but there's something even worse about it. Because if Jim Crow Joe is sending people over to Afghanistan or all these different places, where's the soldiers that coming in to stop this shit? CNN witnesses desperate Afghan parents selling their daughters.
Pawana, who dreams of going to school and becoming a teacher, applies makeup. A favorite pastime for little girls, but Pawana knows she is preparing for what awaits her.
She's putting makeup on like a grown woman.
My
She's putting makeup on like a grown woman, people. Now, I want y'all to understand something. They got an issue with Kyrie. They got an issue with Kanye making over words. But don't nobody on the mainstream really got a major issue with this. Nobody on the mainstream has an issue with this. I want you to understand, out of all the billions of dollars that is used to undermine black folks, specifically the descendants of the slaves here in this country, to suppress and undermine, they spend money to undermine black folks. They spend millions and millions of dollars to undermine black people. And when you have something like this, the mainstream media is silent. Now, somebody may say, well, DP, that's not fair for you to say that. They're not silent. You're watching the video. No one's doing anything about it. You're actually watching human trafficking right here. The point of the matter is, what I'm saying is, and we're going to get to that in a minute too, because I'm going to have to cover that. They could spend all this time and energy focusing on R. Kelly, which is when they started this whole, well, the black brute complex again. And we know that nigga's a piece of shit. Bottom line is, they spent all this money to release a whole entire documentary, and this nigga's already been convicted. Just coming up with old transcripts. No indictments on the parents that sold their daughters. And you have something like this, and they're silent.
Pawana, who dreams of going to school and becoming a teacher, applies makeup. A favorite pastime for little girls.
Silent in the
Pawana
conviction.
knows she is preparing for what awaits her. My father has sold me because we don't have bread, rice and flour. He has sold me to an old man. The white-bearded man who claims he's 55 years old.
This nigga looks like he's 60 plus. He's hopping in like Geppetto. He's hopping in happy as hell. This child's 9 years old, dude. 9 years old.
To an old man. The white-bearded man who claims he's 55 years old comes to collect her. He's bought Pawana for 200,000 Afghanis, just over $2,000 US.
$2,000, I would have robbed that nigga. I would have. I don't know where they're at. What kind of law is this? I would have had robbed that nigga so quick for that money. He got 2 bands, which means the man got some paper. How did you even find somebody to do something like that? You know what? This gonna have to be said tonight. You got folks that come over here that has shit like this going on as a culture in their community and got the nerve to say something about black folks. Got the nerve to say something about American black folk. The nerve. Y'all got whole trafficking rings in some of these countries, these third world countries. You better not fix your mouth to say nothing about nobody black coming over here. We don't have that over here because we don't allow it. We don't have an open network, some shit like this. We watching this on TV. Don't you know that they got R. Kelly doing time for some shit like this. And these women, these girls ain't that damn young. They ain't 9 years old. Y'all better not fix your mouth to come over here and say nothing about us. Y'all got whole, man, this shit's crazy. How can they do this on camera?
1,000 Afghanis, just over $2,000 US. Covered up, Pawana whimpers as her mother holds her. This is your bride. Please take care of her, says Pawana's father. Of course I will take care of her.
You piece of shit. I would never sell my children. We all starving until we farm up some shit or somebody get robbed. It almost feels staged in a way, but I know it's not. You can't sell that big ass carpet in the back, that big rug, that big beautiful rug.
Replies the man. His large hands grab her small frame. Pawana tries to pull away. As he carries...
This nigga sold his daughter. Y'all ain't got prostitution over there? You can't pimp your wife? For real. She ain't willing to sell her body before selling her daughter? What kind of shit is this? Cowardice. Don't nobody from that country better ever come over here and fix their mouth to say nothing about the descendants of the slaves ever. Not in front of me. Not in front of me, nigga. You better not say nothing about no black folks. Y'all got whole open cultures of trafficking. This is rape.
Carries her only bag of belongings. She again resists.
Of course she's gonna
digging
resist.
Her heels into the dirt.
And her mom's
but
ushering
it's
her
futile.
out. Why didn't she go in place of her? If you believe in really sacrificing your children, why didn't she go in place? This nigga kept his wife. I'm talking about, man, let's talk about some real game right here, man. Now, they probably got, I don't know what kind of law, religious law they got over there or whatever, but shit, man, sell your house. If it got to be that.
The fate of this small, helpless child has been sealed.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't play that over here. You ain't selling no children over here. None of my homies could come up to me and ask me that question. I'll snap. It's gonna be some shit, nigga, ask me some shit like that. Speaking of children, a race soldier killed this 13-year-old out in Ohio. There's a guy by the name of Craig Butler Sr. faced murder charges for killing Sensei Reed in Columbus, Ohio. I was actually going to fly down to Columbus, Ohio a couple years ago and do some business. So they said there's been a claim of self-defense, said a local homicide detective when prosecutors dismissed the case. Let's go over to the North Carolina beat. Megan Reed, the mother of the victim, continues to seek justice. So let's see what the mother says. I don't believe it was self-defense. Megan Reed told the North Carolina Beat on Wednesday, October 12th. Her son, 13-year-old Sensei Reed, said he wasn't feeling well. Megan said she told her son that it was probably because of the air he sleeps under the fan in the bedroom window. She said Sensei returned to his room and later came back while she was cooking and had a conversation. After Sensei and his mother finished talking, he left the kitchen and returned to his room. Megan said the next thing she knew, someone came banging on her door. She said the neighbor told her that Sensei had been shot. Megan said she didn't know that her son had even gone outside because they were just in the kitchen having a conversation before he went back to his room. When Megan got to where her son was lying with gunshot wounds, she said witnesses started telling her that the man, Krieg Butler Sr., was responsible. Now, let's do an analysis. We're going to do a couple different analysis tonight. Now, when you look at a picture of this man's mugshot, of this suspected white supremacist, does he look guilty? See, they do this to black folks all the time, so we're going to switch the narrative here. We ain't going to apply selective justice. This white man here, the look on his face doesn't look like, I'm really not worried about this. I did it and I don't mind. Because let me tell you something. If I shot a kid, even if a kid was trying to kill me and I shot a kid, I'm not going to be looking like that. It ain't even like I'm trying to look tough because I'm in here and I'm worried about what somebody's going to do to me. It's like, okay, nigga, I did it. I ain't tripping. I smoked this little young nigga. I smoked the ops. According to Megan, witnesses told that Krieg allegedly shot Sensei and then came back around and re-shot him multiple times. After Krieg allegedly shot Sensei, he fled the scene. Megan said police captured Krieg at his house the next day on October 13th. Now, y'all keep in mind, we're just now hearing about this shit a couple weeks ago. He was charged with murder, put in jail under $1 million bond, but he claimed self-defense and the charges were dismissed against him on October 19th. And he was released from jail. That's really quick. That is very quick. You get charged with murder, get $1 million bond, you claim self-defense, and then your charges are dismissed within days. Megan told the North Carolina Beat that Krieg claimed her son had a gun, and when she went to where her son was shot, she didn't see a weapon, and neither did the witnesses tell her that they saw her son with a gun. The Franklin County Prosecutor's Office never mentioned that Sensei had a weapon and only stated that Craig raised a self-defense claim. Well, if you raise a self-defense claim, defend from what? They said that was the basis for dismissing the murder charge against him, but now the shooting with self-defense has not been released. They said how the shooting with self-defense has not been released. Well, that should be released right away. It's been October. Megan said she spoke with a prosecutor from the Franklin County Prosecutor's Office during a protest for Sensei and was told there wasn't enough evidence against Krieg to keep him in custody. Megan said she's confused about how Krieg, previously convicted of a misdemeanor domestic violence, could possess a firearm or have no charge against him for that at least. See, that's another thing. That's a piece of the story that I didn't know about. But listen to this. According to Guilford.org, Ohio doesn't have a law prohibiting individuals convicted of misdemeanor domestic violence from purchasing or possessing firearms or ammunition. You know, up here in Minnesota, if you slapping some woman around like Dana White's ass did, or what's the name of the UFC dude, Dana White? Yeah, you can't have a pipe. Now listen to this. However, federal law applies in 18 USC 922 (G) 8 that it is unlawful for an individual convicted of misdemeanor domestic violence to purchase or possess firearms or ammo. So that's state law that we were talking about from Ohio. And they probably did that to protect race soldiers. That's probably why. That's probably why. But federal law should oversee state law. Federal law goes over state law. A press release from Franklin County Prosecuting Attorney Gary Tyak's office on October 13th said it is normal. Listen to this nigga. It's normal for almost every case in municipal court to be dismissed. Now, this is his quote. Not every case initiated in municipal court is presented to the grand jury, the release said. This particular case is still under review for possible presentation to the grand jury, and unfortunately, I cannot advise you when the case will be presented to the grand jury. That is I'm white and I say so law. That's I'm white and I say so. In a statement, witnesses said Krieg was driving a red truck when he allegedly shot Senzay. Senzay was rushed to the Ohio Health Doctors Hospital, where he later died. Megan said her son was shot 4 or 5 times, including in his right hand and back. The autopsy has not come back on Senzay's cause and manner of death. And you know what I'm going to say? That this brother, he should have never been killed. But I sure would like to know where the shitty cousins and the serial hood hitters in Columbus, Ohio is. I know it's some riders. I know it's some sliders. I know it's some smoking your dead ops people. I know it's some smoking your dead ops people. Let's get on that for a minute. Because this could have been your little brother, right? Where's your smoking your dead ops people at? That's what I want to know. I want to know where they're at. I do. And that's a sad commentary, man. That's a real fucking sad commentary, because this prosecutor's basically, I mean, they're being very, very vague. Let me see if I can find some other information about this case. Let me see if I can find some information about this case.
In a story you'll only see here on 10 TV, Reed's mother speaks exclusively to our Richard Solomon.
Andrew, Megan Reed, Senzay's mother, tells me she's standing off the strength her other kids give her and to get justice for her son. And this is something she will not stop doing until it's done.
October 12th, that morning, Senzay woke up.
Megan Reed remembers that day like it just happened. A day that will never escape her mind. Her son, Senzay Reed.
He loved to laugh just like me, like he thought everything was funny.
He just started middle school. He was only 13 years old.
He's still a baby. Whether he had teen behind his years, he's still a baby. And my baby had a lot of years left.
Well, and see, you know, what the media does, what the white media typically does is a teenager. What they try to do is they frame the narrative that this child is a man. Under the system of white supremacy, they'll say, well, this child is a man. So that justifies his death.
He's still a baby. Whether he had teen behind his years, he's still a baby. And my baby had a lot of years left.
This day that she can't forget. Columbus police found Senzay shot in his Wedgwood apartment neighborhood.
I see him laying on the ground. I seen there was blood like everywhere around him.
The way he drove off, too. If you shoot somebody, you're able to drive off. That's something that needs to be questioned.
I couldn't go to him. I couldn't hold him. I couldn't tell him that it was going to be okay.
Police arrested 36-year-old Craig Butler that next day. Court records from October show that Butler was charged with murder in municipal court. But days later, the charges against him were dismissed, and prosecutors have not yet refiled charges in the common pleas court.
Now, the common pleas court and the municipal court, I'm going to need someone to break that down. I'm very confused.
According to the prosecutor on the case is still under review and pending further consideration. In a statement from Franklin County prosecuting attorney Gary Tyack, he said, quote, "It is standard practice for almost every felony case filed in municipal court to be dismissed." Further saying, this particular case is still under review for possible presentation to the grand jury.
That's cap. Because if that would have been a nigga that would have shot a white woman, what would have happened?
But it has not been presented as of now. And now
let's see if we can get some more information here. Hold on, let's get some information. Mr. I'm Not Black, rigor mortis rolling, said something about it. We're not going to play him.
Joining us now is Sinze Reed's mother, Megan Reed, and community activist Dewan Sharp. Thank you both so much for your time and joining us tonight. Megan, just want to start off by saying our deepest condolences go out to you for the loss of your son, which I cannot imagine the pain that...
I didn't even know he went outside that day.
All right, let's go back.
He went back in his room. I was cooking, so I went in the kitchen. I didn't even know he went outside that day. Like, less than 10 minutes later, the neighbors came banging on the door saying that Sinze got shot. And they took Sinze to the hospital. And they told me that he was shot in the chest, which I only thought at that time he was shot in the chest. They told me that they was trying to get his heart to restart for 20 minutes. And then they came back and got me, my mom, my two sisters. We went in there. As soon as we went in there, they called time of death, and that was at 6:26.
Dewan, Columbus police are investigating, but they say that they are still waiting for key ballistic evidence nearly 3 months later. Why do you
3 months later, more Capoeira talk.
think it's taken this long?
I really don't know. Like, I know I received a paper from the coroner saying that it does take like 2 or more months. But
it takes time for them to get their story together. Let's call it what it is. This is a suspected white supremacist with a confirmed white supremacist culture in Ohio. Ohio has a known white supremacist culture going on in that system.
As far as I know right now, that my son got shot 4 times that I know of. Once in the chest, once in his right hand. His right hand's with his right with, and 2 times on the side. So even if Craig is trying to play self-defense, he shot my son in his right hand for sure. So that means my son had his hands up. So he should still be in jail to this day, but he's not. He's walking around a free man.
Dewan, question.
And another question is how many shots does it take to put a 13-year-old down? If you're trying to say it's self-defense and he did something, if you shot a kid one time, that kid ain't coming at you no more. So I beg to differ that it was self-defense.
For you, there are some people on social media who are making a parallel between Sinze's death and the death of Ahmaud Arbery. That's taking, in that scenario, it took months for arrest to be made. Do you think that that's a fair comparison?
I do believe it's a fair comparison, but we can't really do comparison right now. We're just focused on the law right now. Craig Butler, he was the one that was not allowed to have firearms. Craig Butler was the one that opened fire in the school zone that almost hit multiple people.
There you go. And see, and what they're saying is, I'm looking at his mugshot again. Let's break this down and analyze this. This dude is looking like, he ain't looking angry. He's looking like, okay, I don't even want to be here. I just killed this Negro. I don't want to be here. Why am I even here? You fired in a school zone. You had a domestic violation. And you know, if it was a domestic violation, they said it was a misdemeanor. He probably beat the shit out of that white woman he was with. Let's be clear about something. White men get a domestic abuse. They ain't really going to do a bunch of time. That probably was a gross misdemeanor or a felony domestic abuse, and they dropped that down and said, all right, go ahead and just get up out of here. We don't want to, don't let us come back to this house no more. We gotta put this in a proper perspective for the simple fact that if they letting him shoot 13-year-olds in a school zone, and he ain't even supposed to have no pipe by federal law. Now, Ohio state law should not be superseded by federal law. Federal law should always take place over state law. So he's not supposed to have the pipe anyway. That's like me going to serve a nigga, and I got me a pound of weed, and we get into a little argument. The gun goes off. Who's at fault? He's dead. I'm serving a nigga a pound, but he's dead. The gun goes off. I wasn't supposed to be serving him the pound, right? That's the precedent right there. I wasn't supposed to be committing a crime with a pipe on me. Well, I got my concealed carry license. No. I got a concealed and carry license, and I'm using that in the benefit of a crime. This man wasn't supposed to have a pipe to begin with. You made a shooting in a school zone, and you drove away. So we have to frame it from that standpoint. We have to frame the discussion from that standpoint right there. We have to say, okay, you were in a school zone with a pipe you wasn't supposed to have. You shot a 13-year-old, and you drove off, and they arrested you the next day. That should have been a manhunt. You shot a child. They arrested him the next day. He didn't go to the police station and say, you know what? This child did this to me, this, that, and the third. See? So there's a higher hand in this. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Craig Butler was the one that fled the scene. Craig Butler was the one that had to get apprehended by SWAT. And it had changed off of...
So now, this is supposed to be a manhunt now. You shot a 13-year-old. And they had to chase him down.
In self-defense, when we have people in the community from us just coming out here talking to people, we found witnesses that seen it, that said since they didn't have a gun, that Craig had the gun, and the police is investigating, but they're really investigating us because after we had our rally, SWAT team hit their neighbor just looking for a gun that they did not find. There had never been a gun, and we don't understand why Sensei is being tried, and he didn't do anything wrong. He was just 13, but a convicted criminal with the illegal firearm firing when we do have.
Now you heard what he said. The SWAT team was looking for a gun, supposedly that the child had, so they couldn't find it. They probably tried to plant one. That's probably what you're going to hear in the next couple months is, well, we found a gun. They're going to find some pictures. Oh, he was throwing up gang signs at school. You know, the whole little kit and caboodle.
Tried, and he didn't do anything wrong. He was just 13, but a convicted criminal with the illegal firearm firing when we do have new gun laws here in Ohio. We're supposed to have enhancers. Craig should have just seen 10 years alone just for having the gun.
You see what I mean? You see what I mean? He was supposed to do time. And you know what's really sad is I see this picture of this sister holding that baby. And you know what? I gotta go there too. We gotta talk about this, brothers and sisters. We gotta talk about this too. I'm glad that activist brother that's there. We have to get more black men in the homes. So when they pull shit like this, I don't care where the daddy is. He's at work. He gets off work and he goes in to find this motherfucker. We have to start taking the initiative in the black population that when you do this shit like this to our children, we pull up and we find you. We pull up and we find you. We start turning into the ops, nigga. Where the smoking dead ops people at? Where the smoking dead ops people at? We start turning into the ops. Somebody does that to my child. Okay, where's he at? Let's pretend like that some nigga stepped on my shoes in the club. Let's pretend like this nigga owes me money. This white supremacist does this to my child. Where is he at? Where does he live? You see what I'm saying? We got to start taking that initiative. That's the initiative we have to start taking. We have to start taking that mindset. Nuclear families, black nuclear families. Where's the man at in the home? Oh, somebody did this to my son. Okay, where's he at? Where's he live at? Too many Negroes walking around talking about smoking dead ops and Jordans. Hold on, let me. Oh no, we going to. Too many Negroes walking around talking about smoking dead ops and Jordans and. Oh, I want to put out an album or whatever the case may be, and oh, I'm offended by Kevin Samuels, and oh, intersectionality, and how is intersectionality helping out some situation like this? Tell me. Feminism and intersectionality and a bunch of nigga shit. Like, seriously, Black Lives Matter. How is that helping that? No, we need some real stomp down niggas. Where the serial hood hitters at? Where the shitty cuz at? Where they at? We need a code. It's good. It's good. I'm not down on the brother. I'm not down on the brother that's the activist. I'm not down on the brother. But I'm looking at this picture and I'm like, the picture says Megan Reed /Facebook. Okay. So they're probably crediting the picture. I'm looking at the sister, and Sensei, I mean, he's like 1 year old. You could tell he was 13. So, hold on. 13. 2010. He was 13 years old. I'm looking at this picture. He's 13 years old. He'll never have children. The legacy ends. Not sure who his daddy is, but if he's not if he's not dead and he's a brother that's alive, and if this woman wasn't running around the block, you know what I'm saying? I mean, his dad is probably some piece of shit ass nigga. And we gonna get into that in a minute too. Oh, we gotta go there too. We have to. So I'm not gonna cast aspersions on the sister. But what I'm saying is I ain't heard nothing from the daddy. I ain't heard nothing from him. I ain't heard a word from the daddy. So either the daddy is MIA, the daddy's locked up, or just a piece of shit ass nigga. And we gonna have to start having some black men in these homes. It's gonna have to be some black men in these homes, man. This intersectionality bullshit and this single mother shit ain't gonna work. From a safety issue. But you got the activists, the brothers there, and sitting on their couch. That's good. But I just happened to notice. That, and I had to bring that up. But they pointed that out. That brother pointed that out. Like, hey man, y'all are sending a SWAT team to look for the gun that Sensei supposedly had. I don't believe Sensei had a gun.
And so just to confirm, no one has ever said that Sensei had a gun, correct?
No one that said he had a gun. We got the original police report from which they released to the media when that happened. No gun. The city used Sensei's name and likeness when they thought it was black on black crime, but when they found out it was Craig that killed him, it was been complete silence. We haven't heard from anyone from any type of policy. I'm just a community activist. I came over here to make sure that she was okay from her losing her son.
Megan, Craig Butler, as we've just been discussing.
There we go. They're going to try to use that. I'm just telling y'all what they're getting ready to do. They got a picture of the brother. He got a hat on. They showed like the younger pictures. And then they got a picture of him with like a baklava throwing up, look like West Side. They're going to use that. I'm telling y'all what the tactics they're going to be using. They're going to start finding pictures. If he has anything on Facebook, they're going to be finding anything that demonizes this child with anything that could say, anything they could say that demonizes this child in his death.
Craig Butler, as we've just been discussing, is currently a free man. From your perspective as a mother, how difficult is it to know that the man who's accused of allegedly killing your son, that he's walking free, living still in the community?
I'm very frustrated because I know if it was the other way around, if Craig was a black man and my child was white, that black man would be in jail and my son would have justice. Or if, since they would have killed Craig, my 13-year-old son would still be in jail. And the fact that he's just walking around living his life, want to go see his 10 kids.
In the same neighborhood, right?
Yeah, he lived, yeah.
Right. We can look out the window and see their home.
Yeah.
Yeah. There we go. That's my whole point. I can see their home. Pull-up season. Ain't nobody getting no sleep. See, back in the day, remember, they used to firebomb black folks' house. Black folks used to just move to a neighborhood, and they used to firebomb black folks' homes. When a black family, good, decent black family, typically, you know, we know about the Great Migration where a lot of black folks moved in, especially Cicero. What did Martin Luther King say? What did Martin Luther King say about Cicero? Let's go get the footage. Let's go get the footage. There's a reason I'm going through this. Shout out to Stack Doe. I'm about to send this to Stack Doe. All right, what'd he say? Okay, hold on. Hold on. Come on, YouTube.
Into all white suburbs. By moving north into all white suburbs. By moving north and by concerning itself with equality in housing and employment, the civil rights movement began to encounter increased resistance. The so-called white backlash.
Remember what I told you when my pops was telling me that there's more law and order in the North, but there's more prejudice in the North than the South, and most black folks don't know this. I always bring that up. I've been bringing that shit up for years. They went for economic and better housing. It was team white supremacy in the North and the South. We know that that's been debunked. Well, niggas went up there because it was racism. No, it wasn't. Wasn't a lot of sundown towns in the South. Most of them is in the North. California, Missouri, you see. So they went for better opportunities. Hey, man, we can get some more money. If I got to deal with some race soldiers, I can get some more bread. But listen to this.
During these marches, King and other demonstrators were struck by bricks and bottles.
Oh, I've been hit so many times, I'm immune to it.
How do you feel about this reception, sir?
Well, this is a terrible thing. I've been in many demonstrations all across the South, but I can say that I have never seen, even in Mississippi and Alabama, mobs as hostile and as hate-filled as I've seen in Chicago. Demonstrations all across the South.
How do you feel about this reception, sir?
Well, this is a terrible thing. I've been in many demonstrations all across the South, But I can say that I have never seen, even in Mississippi and Alabama, mobs as hostile and as hate-filled as I've seen here in Chicago.
There you go. There you go. I've been in many demonstrations. That man wasn't lying. He had no reason to lie. King was a rioter. No reason to lie at all. I've been in many demonstrations. Alabama, Mississippi, the places that they always want to paint as the big bad guys. Well, Trump get in office, the sky gonna fall. Yeah, they try to use that kind of narrative. Well, if this happens, this gonna happen if you don't vote. Just give me some collard greens and vote. They hit you with that. Nah, man. He's saying I went to Cicero, Chicago. So, let's look at Ohio like that. Look at, these are some Jim Crow. These are some Mississippi. This is some Jim Crow laws. This is I'm white and I say so with the fullest degree. This dude is still living. He must got like a house or some shit over there. And what was he doing in the apartment building? You see what I'm saying? He shot him and let. See, it's none of this is adding up.
If police and authorities in Columbus are watching our report tonight, Megan, what is your message to the police?
I need justice for my son. My son is no longer here. I'm going to continue to talk, and I will be his voice until he gets justice.
We have demands for that. Mm-hmm. First off, we would like the immediate arrest of Craig Butler. That's it, like for real. And number two is Gary Tyack in his office. We would like them replaced because they're not doing their job. The third is an apology from the city for us having to come out here and do this.
No, we don't need no apology. No, sir. We don't need no apology. We need anti-black racism crime bills and legislation. We don't need no apologies. None. No. No, that's one thing, and we got to start getting that out of our vocabulary. Not down on the brother. Not down on the brother at all. Not down on the brother. He's a victim of racism, white supremacy, just like I am. We don't need no apology, nigga. No, not at all. We don't need no apology. We need enforcement of the law. He needs to be locked up, sitting up there with all the serial hood hitters so they can knock a damn hole in his head while he's doing his time in the county jail down there in Columbus.
When it's their duty and their elected official capacity to do these things for us. And the final one is the DOJ to come into Columbus, Ohio to investigate the patterns of practice of the Columbus police.
I agree with the DOJ. Investigate the practice. Now, the practice, we already have that. Mike German already did a very, very long and informative investigation and report about the white supremacists that are in a lot of these in the military and in law enforcement. So we don't really need any additional information on that. We need the DOJ to come in and slam that hammer, slam that mallet, that hammer. Hey, you Popeye chicken Negro spiritual people at. Speaking of the DOJ, who's in control of the DOJ? Who's in control of the DOJ? Who's in control of the DOJ?
So 20 rate of crime included in this.
1994 crime bill, we had a gigantic epidemic in America of violence, particularly in African-American communities. The notion was overwhelmingly supported. It was supported by the Black Caucus in the United States Senate by and large.
And the reason...
particularly in African-American communities.
Rhetoric, that bill was a huge mistake.
There's no question that crime bill contributed to America's mass incarceration problem.
That's very interesting. A lot of Popeye chicken Negro spiritual niggas try to tell me, man, the 94 crime bill didn't have nothing to do. Oh, well, this is Crime Koala actually saying
is being debated.
You stood up and used that tough on crime, phony rhetoric. That bill was a huge mistake.
There's no question that crime bill contributed to America's mass incarceration problem.
1994 crime bill, we had a gigantic epidemic in America of violence, particularly in African American communities. The notion was overwhelmingly supported. It was supported by the Black Caucus in the United States Senate by and large.
By and large, the United States Senate and your congressional boule Negroes supported it. Yeah. I talked about this quite a while ago. Look at this big Sesame Street face ass. Look at this bullfrog.
Undercutting our institutions.
Ratio for crack to powder cocaine and put in mandatory minimums. Now, mandatory minimums were put in 86. They were applied to first-time offenders in 1988.
This is crack cocaine. It could easily have been heroin or PCP. It's as innocent looking as candy, but it's turning our cities into battle zones.
George W.
The charge on the bill with African Americans from New York. Charles Rangel was leading the charge on that bill. And this bill did some significant things to do, but we did all for it. Go ask Joe Biden why he did.
It's not different.
So I voted for that.
That Barack and I finally reduced the disparity in sentencing, which we've been fighting to eliminate, in crack cocaine versus powder cocaine. It was a big mistake when it was made. We were told by the experts that crack, you never go back. It was made. We were told by the experts that crack, you never go back. Powder cocaine. It was a big mistake when it was made. We were told by the experts that crack, you never go back. It was somehow fundamentally different. It's not different, but it's trapped an entire generation.
And so all of this stuff about the crime bill, people talking about, oh, you just giving Joe Biden cover. I'm not giving Joe Biden cover. I've explained to you why I voted for it. Go ask Joe Biden why he did.
But people say that, it at least perpetuated the idea that more people should be in prison. Do you ever think about that your support for this bill may have perpetuated mass incarceration as we see it now?
Of course he doesn't think about it because he had his little South Carolina oven-warm, nuclear flame-fired butter biscuits that he could munch on. That's why he didn't think about it. Little bullfrog neck bastard.
Yeah, I think about that. I just don't think that's true. Suppose we had not done anything and just let the 1986 and 1988 stay in place. Don't do anything. Then where would we be?
Boy, this is a real plantation nigga if I ever seen one. But that's why we have this situation here.
Department and our judiciary.
Well, what have police said to you? How are they defending that they have not arrested him at this point?
Silence.
Yeah. I haven't even talked to the detective on the case since October 23rd when he called to interrogate me, asking me why do I allow my child, since then, to carry a gun.
Now, there hasn't been a gun confirmed that he had. This is the homicide. Listen to this. This is the homicide detective telling her, why do you let your child carry a gun? Listen to this.
Silence.
Yeah. I haven't even talked to the detective on the case since October 23rd when he called to interrogate me, asking me why do I allow my child, since then, to carry a gun. First of all, why would I allow my 13-year-old son to carry a gun? That doesn't make sense. And why are you interrogating me? My son is the victim. I don't know what happened that day. I wasn't over there.
Megan, we did not have the opportunity to ever meet your son. Talk to us about what Sinzay was like, what made him smile, what he loved to do.
Sinzay just turned 13, 2 months before this happened. He was a normal boy. He had friends. He went outside to play. He did a normal boy stuff. And for them to try to make him out to seem like he's in some kind of gangbanger in a gang, stealing people's cars, doing all this other nonsense because he's black. That's what it comes out to, because he's black. It makes me mad.
Well, in the white media, as a black kid, and right here I'm looking at him, he looked like he might be around maybe 9 or 8 or something. Like a good kid. I seen pictures of Rittenhouse with a big ass motherfucking chopper in his hand with a huge smile. They didn't say he was a thug and this, that, and the third. I don't see no pictures of him holding no AR-15s as a kid. He got his backpack on.
Really mad. Because if my son was white, once again, I wouldn't be in this situation right now. Matter of fact, if my son was white, Craig probably would have never killed him.
Megan and Dewan, we thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, man. I mean, this shit is... Okay, let's see if we can find something else. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. What the hell? Body cam shows Florida officers overdose during a drug search. What the fuck? Hold on. Let's see what this is. Why would she be an overdose?
Possible exposure.
Tavares police said they're releasing this difficult footage of an officer who is now doing okay as a warning about how dangerous fentanyl can be. Courtney Sullivan with the Tavares Police Department said Officer Courtney Bannock found drugs on a passenger during a traffic stop Monday night.
She said she just barely opened it, saw that it was, narcotics, closed it quickly.
Sullivan said Bannock wore gloves as she always did. The officers agreed to test the substance back at the department, trying to avoid exposure because it was windy.
Did she sniff it?
She was trying to key up on the radio, and you could hear in the radio traffic almost like she was choking.
Just once, it sounded weird.
Sullivan said the officers found Bannock in and out of consciousness. They got Bannock out of the car and ran to get the emergency medication Narcan.
Damn.
A small window to get to the hospital and to get the care that you need.
Get an ambulance. You're good, Courtney. You're good.
She's breathing.
Hey, stay with me, okay?
The body camera footage shows Officer Bannock reviving, even talking.
It's a dollar bill.
Not long after, she's passed out again.
They administered a third Narcan.
Officer Bannock survived.
Biggest thing that Officer Bannock in general really wants others to take away from this, so that these drugs are dangerous. They're dangerous for...
So did she open it up and get smelled it? And it just, holy shit. Man. Oh, man, I don't know, man. That damn fentanyl ain't no joke. Let's move on. But yeah, brothers and sisters, what we have to have is, because no child should be getting killed out in the street. And no child should be getting sold on the black market. Actually, I don't even want to use that term, black market. But you got that child that was sold. Now, that culture has not been demonized. I want y'all to... There's a reason why... Well, why are you comparing? There's a reason why I'm bringing that up. That child, that culture has not been demonized for doing that. For CNN to basically witness trafficking going on, they actually took video of human trafficking, as that was a social norm. And Afghanistan, hey, Jim Crow Joe, send some of them troops over there to stop that shit. We got the most powerful army in the world, right? I want to bring an article, and this was something that was published on June 24th, 2015 by David Love, and it was updated on December 30th, 2017, but brought to my attention. This was on the Atlanta Black Star, where the Pentagon admitted to using black soldiers as human guinea pigs in World War II. When I think about the Harlem Hellfighters, and when I think about all the black folks that was in military, a few things come to mind in that regard. And this is an older article, okay? But it made me think about the book Medical Apartheid a lot. And on this article, I'll read it. Black enlisted men were used as human guinea pigs in chemical experiments during World War II, not by Nazi Germany, but by Uncle Sam. As was reported by NPR, 60,000 American soldiers were enrolled in a secret chemical weapons testing program in which they were exposed to mustard gas and the chemical agent Louisite, which causes lung irritation and blisters. Moreover, the U.S. Department of Defense conducted the test based on the race of the soldiers. Black, Japanese American, and Puerto Rican soldiers were locked in a gas chamber and exposed to the chemicals. White soldiers were used as the control group. They were being tested to see what effects these gases would have on black skin. See, that's that eugenics pioneer fund crap, said Rollins Edwards, 93 years old, of Summerville, South Carolina. You had no choice. You did not know where you were going. They didn't tell you anything. Edwards said his skin still falls off in flakes as a result of the testing. For years, the World War II veteran carried around a jar full of flakes to convince people that something had happened to him. Yet another reason for reparations. When people say, well, y'all shouldn't just get no cash payments. Y'all owe us so much that you couldn't even pay us back. You have stuff like this going on, from the predatory loans, from medical apartheid, financial apartheid, spiritual apartheid, physical apartheid, every single stretch of an imagination from these bastards. Although the Pentagon had admitted as early as 1991 that the Army tested mustard gas on enlisted soldiers during World War II, and the experiment program was officially declassified in 1993, news about the racial targeting of the soldiers were kept under wraps until recently. This revelation that the Army tested chemical weapons on soldiers of color is both troubling and an outrage. But the concept of black people being used in medical and other experiments is by no means a new phenomenon. Damn it, we need some damn music. Hold on. We're going to have to get some music up here. There are numerous examples of black people being used as guinea pigs in unethical medical experiments. Perhaps the most well-known example is the Tuskegee experiment, in which the Tuskegee Institute and the U.S. Public Health Service studied the natural progression of syphilis in 600 black men who were never notified of their condition and were not treated. So think about that. These brothers could have had relationships with other sisters and could have passed that on. Reparations. I don't want to hear about no damn handout. We owed this shit. You stole our music. You're poisoning us with this syphilis. You're poisoning us with this damn jab. Then it says the test, which began in 1932, did not end until news reports exposed the inhumane and racist practice in 1972. So this went on 30 plus years. Now that's something that I didn't know. This went on for a long time. But there are other cases beyond Tuskegee. For example, in the 1800s, Sarah Bartman, I remember this case, or Hottentot Venus, one of two Khoi women made into freak show attractions in Europe, was subjected to medical experiments. And modern gynecology was the result of torturous gynecological experiments that J. Marion Sims performed on enslaved women without anesthesia. At the turn of the century, the U.S. Public Health Service conducted experiments on black prisoners suffering from pellagra, which is a B13 or a niacin deficiency leading to sensitivity to sunlight, skin lesions, dementia, and death. In 1945, 53-year-old truck driver Eb Cave was injected with plutonium by the U.S. Atomic Agency after he was taken to the hospital and kept there for 6 months following a car accident. Can you imagine being in a car accident and somebody keeping you for more than a damn week, let alone 3 days? Cave received 40 times the amount of plutonium, the key ingredient for a nuclear bomb. A typical person is exposed to over the course of a lifetime. He died 8 years later of heart failure. If y'all want to look that up on the Atlanta Black Star, with the Pentagon admitting to using black soldiers as guinea pigs, check that out. I won't read the whole thing, but I did want to point that out. That is crazy. That is nuts. Now this is pretty. No, hold on. Shout out to this brother. And you know what? This is exactly what should have happened.
Half naked.
Right.
Can you imagine that girl?
He was standing right there in the kitchen.
Half naked.
Right.
Can you imagine that girl, just 12 years old, and it turns out The stranger in her room at 7 o'clock Sunday morning was a next-door neighbor. The child's family just moved to a house near Homeview Drive in Montana Avenue 2 weeks ago.
She was really smart. Like, she hid under the cover, turned her light down, turned her volume down on her phone to text me. And then when she peeked under the cover to see where he was at, and she got up and she ran away.
He has a long history of convictions for drugs, trespassing, and fleeing police. But most disturbing, a guilty plea in 2001 for sexual misconduct. Court records say he got a 15-year-old girl pregnant.
He got undressed in my daughter's room. Like, what was...
And here's the thing, y'all. Again, I'm white and I say so law. You touch and you rape children. You have all these criminal charges behind you. This dusty white dude, they still let him out of jail. So never let the white media tell you, well, it's all types of criminals, black criminals are running around. It's a bunch of black criminals. No. We're not going to use that narrative. This nigga is up in the damn daughter's room. I would have shot the fuck out of his ass too.
What was your intentions?
Told him get out. And he didn't want to move. Right. And he growled at me. And he ended up...
Oh, get out. Oh, no. I would have popped his ass. I wouldn't have told him get out. He would have got popped first. Hold on. Let's go back. Wait a minute, brother. He growled at me. He growled? Man, please.
Intentions.
Told him get out. And he didn't want to move. Right. And he growled at me. And he ended up getting 6 shots. Period.
There he was, standing right there in the kitchen.
Half naked.
Right.
Can you imagine? That girl just 12 years old, and it turns out...
Well, 6 shots. And he got off easy. He got off real easy. But here's part of the reason why you have this. And they try to laugh at Dr. Frances Cress Welsing. But listen to this. Oh, I haven't heard this one. We're gonna go live with this. I ain't heard this yet. Let's see what she says. But somebody was saying Dr. Frances Cress Welsing was right.
So this is my second video now about the public assassination yesterday in Germany of a 16-year-old black boy by the German cops. They were like 10 old white men with machine guns, and they shot him 30 times in the head, stomach, and when he was already dead, they kept shooting him in the back. So let me explain you why the cops will be free as a kite, they will face no punishment. Let me explain. Germany, like Austria or the US, is an at its core racist state.
Oh, Austria is off the hook. I think Gangsta Gibbs, Freddie Gibbs got locked up in Austria for some fake ass rape charges that he never did. It kind of reminds me of what's the brother that did the Nat Turner movie, acquitted by an all-white jury, Nate Parker. I mean, they really push this black brute complex, man.
In these racist states, the white body is always helpless in relation to the black body. The virgin sanctity of whiteness is endangered even by the proximity to blackness. By virgin sanctity, I mean that white folks, they connote goodness, purity, cleanliness to whites, which must always be protected at all costs. So one cop can never handle one non-white person, so they always need an entire troop of cops to ward off this perceived threat. In white supremacy states, every bullet this boy took is being justified based on a perceived threat he posed by virtue of being black.
Yeah. She spoke truth to power. This white lady from Europe, she spoke truth to power. Frances Cress Welsing used to nail that shit like a coffin. I may have to comment on this.
So this is my second...
Okay. Yeah, she spoke truth to power. I mean, here's another one. It's another non-white person, a non-black person that's speaking about explains in her own words why Asian Americans hate black Americans. And this is what she's saying. Let's see what she says.
Please be patient with me because there's so much here. I think the quick answer is that Asian Americans are given white privilege, especially the Asian Americans who fit the model minority.
Now, mind you, this is an Asian woman. This isn't me talking. This is her own words. So I'm not going to misconstrue anything.
Is that Asian Americans are given white privilege, especially the Asian Americans who fit the model minority stereotype. The quid pro quo for receiving that privilege is upholding white supremacy culture, which means being anti-Black. I was talking with somebody last night who was pointing out that the Civil Rights Amendment was passed in 1964, but also in the 1960s, the United States opened the door to Asian immigration. So now you have an influx of racial minorities who knew nothing about the history of white violence against Black people, knew nothing about the Black civil rights movement. So they arrived with civil rights, not understanding how that came to be. And also it effectively erased the United States' own anti-Asian history, because Asian Americans came in not necessarily knowing about the Chinese Exclusion Act or the internment of Japanese Americans in the United States during World War II. And I think that Asian Americans are used as a buffer between the Black community and the white community, because in the 1960s, there was almost a racial reckoning. The white power structure almost had to face accountability for the history of violence against Black people.
And what happened with that was it was a bunch of coons between the 60s and 70s. A lot of that, basically what ended up happening was colder ice is better. I was watching something, and shout out to my homie Solomon. Might have to give him a call to let him chime in on this. I was sending him. Okay, so I seen something here, and this wasn't just with the Panthers, but they said over, was it 20%? Hold on, let's see. Okay. By 1972, Black male leadership in the Panther Party was almost decimated, with 22% of the Black Panther Party were documented informants for the FBI. So, informants, coons, whatever you want to call it, you had Negroes, a large amount of Negroes, enough amount of Sambo Negroes that were taking deals from the feds. You see what I'm saying? So, I mean, there you go. Oh yeah, we're going through a lot of topics, ain't we, y'all? That's what I love about this, man. Shout out to my damn Roadcaster Pro. Shout out to my Roadcaster Pro. I won't cover that one. Let's keep it going. Here's another thing. This was in Lubbock, Texas. Listen to this.
Moved to Lubbock, Texas 2 years ago, they knew that sending their son Brady to a new school might come with some challenges, but nothing prepared him, his mom Tracy, or stepdad Seth for what they were about to endure.
We feel singled out. We feel the racism here.
I just feel like it's blatant incompetence from the schools.
Over the last 2 school years, Brady Kemp and at least 9 other Black children say they have been suffering from constant racial harassment. They hear classmates call them monkeys. Some students play sounds on their cell phones that mimic the crack of a whip.
I feel like I get looked down at.
How often would you say you heard the N-word?
It's an everyday thing.
Last spring, someone created an Instagram featuring the school's logo, encouraging classmates to send photos of monkeys. His mother was shocked to see a post of her son.
We watched him change, like his mood, not want to go to school, being sad.
Parents brought their concerns.
No, because this is a Jim Crow education. Of course, he's not going to want to go to school. He's not going to want to go to school. I was watching something that the Black media posted. I think Tariq posted something, and he was doing analysis on some big-ass polypachyderm mammy that I guess her child was autistic, and she brought the child to like a soccer or like a tennis training or something, and the police hemmed them up and, You know what I'm saying? They do that a lot of times to kids that are mentally challenged and things of that nature, or autistic, or whatever the case may be. They know that these kids ain't, may not be thinking like other kids think. So they'll attack them. And this big ass beluga whale is sitting up there explaining, I ought to play that shit. The black media already covered it, but for those that ain't heard it, I ought to play that shit. And see, the thing is you have these women that put their sons into dangerous positions, and then when they get on the news and they start talking, it looked really, really weird. She looked way, way too damn calm for this shit to happen. She looked really, really calm. It was almost creepy, eerily calm. She didn't seem outraged at all. She didn't really seem like, she just, I don't know, bro. It didn't look right.
Concerns to the Lubbock Cooper School District, but 8 months later, they say they've never received an update and that white students keep taunting their kids. Without local action, they felt they had no choice but to turn to the federal government. This week, lawyers filed joint complaints alleging that administrators in Lubbock and neighboring Slayton, Texas, violated the civil rights of their students by failing to prevent and respond to racial bullying. Attorney Paige Duggins-Clay represents the families.
The parents in these complaints and the students, they're not asking for money. All they're asking is for equal treatment under the law.
Keith Bryant, the district superintendent, says the school has taken appropriate action and that staff are trained to report bullying.
No, they haven't. I took a look at pictures. Look, you know what? He looked very irritated, but he was trying to kind of keep his composure. You could look at this. This is on NBC News. Yeah, he was upset that the news came out there and they try to ask him some questions.
For money. All they're asking is for equal treatment under the law.
No, we do need some fucking money. Equal treatment of the law, my ass. As Dr. Claude Anderson said, there ain't no damn equal treatment. Give us some money, we can build our own schools, and we ain't got to deal with these motherfuckers.
Bryant, the district superintendent, says the school has taken appropriate action and that staff are trained to report bullying.
Do you believe there's racism here in Lubbock Cooper?
I believe that there is. Do I think our society is racist? Absolutely. Do I think it spills over in the schools? I will certainly say it can.
He's explaining already. He's already hitting them with the 3-trick Molly.
We work really hard to try to mitigate that. There is no place in Lubbock Cooper ISD for racism in any form or fashion.
Bryant says the investigation into the racist Instagram account remains open.
They talked to hundreds of kids and never found out exactly who it was.
That's so big cap. Oh, that's big Cap Herrera. That's Abraham Lincoln Cap. Can we get a Cap song? Hold on, let's see if we can get a Cap song going on. Let's see if we can get a Cap song, some kind of Cap audio. Can we get a Cap? Can we get a Cap song? Let me get a no cap. I need a no cap audio. Let me get a no cap. I can't find nothing with no cap. Are you serious? I can't find no audio with no cap. This is crazy. See, the bigger problem is he's basically trying to pass it on with society as a whole and this, that, and that. No. We're not going to do that. No, let's not do that at all. Let's not do that at all, sir.
Years ago, they knew that sending their son Brady to a new school.
Hold on.
Society is racist? Absolutely. Do I think it spills over in the schools? I will certainly say it can. We work really hard.
I know what I was getting ready to say. When Botham Jean's Sambo ass family was up there hugging that race soldier in Dallas, we're talking about Texas now, there was a sister that was getting followed. She lost her job. She lost her pharmacist license, I believe it was, because she videotaped the race soldiers that was coming out of the apartment when they ambushed Botham Jean. She lost her job. somebody start fucking with her social media. Now, these are billion-dollar corporations, Instagram or Twitter, or whatever the case may. Who has the power to lock her out of her social media? She had a business. Who has the power to lock her out of her social media accounts? Think about that for a moment. That's a higher hand. You're not going to convince me to tell me what you can't find out. This is sedition against the United States because civil rights are being violated. Especially when it comes to the descendants of the slaves. We're supposed to have special order of protections. We're supposed to have special protections beyond anybody else in the United States. And that still hasn't been given to us. We're supposed to have freedmen protections. But you're telling me that you don't know who shared it. Y'all got to keep in mind, I'm in IT. I know what's cap. Come on, man. Y'all can find that out. Easy. Real easy.
Hard to try to mitigate that. There is no place in Lubbock Cooper ISD for racism in any form or fashion.
Bryant says the investigation into the racist Instagram account remains open.
They talked to hundreds of kids and never found out exactly who it was.
Cap. More cap.
I was frustrated about that. I sought the help of the FBI behind the scenes.
Man, if the FBI would have came in there, they would have got that in order. You didn't get the FBI in order for that.
You interviewed hundreds of people, but none of the black students whose faces were posted on that Instagram page say that they were interviewed.
Well, I can't speak to that because
yes, you
the
can.
Administration at that campus.
More cap. He's playing it again.
Did that.
Monday night, families arrived to a school board meeting wearing all black.
We will not quit. We simply will not go away.
Their hope is that the federal government, which can withhold funds from schools that violate the law, will intervene. For Brady, he plans to...
If all the black folks in there left the school and said this is a white supremacist regime, y'all violated our due process, there you go.
To spend the next few months focused on getting good grades. Next fall, his family hopes to move to a new town. Still, Brady has a message for the classmates he'll leave behind.
I bleed the same blood as you do. We do the same classes together, and you still treat me differently because I'm darker than you? Why?
Antonia Hilton, NBC.
And see, he's asking a good question as a child. You want to know why you're being mistreated. Maybe I shouldn't say this, but I think some things just need to be critiqued. His stepdad, I seen him. He looks like his stepdad looks Hispanic. I'm not sure if he's black or not, but there's something that doesn't make sense about this situation. There's something that rubs me the wrong way, and I don't know what it is. But it sounds like his parents ain't been talking to him about white supremacy. Something does not rub me the right way. Let me look at the demographics of Lubbock, Texas. Because I ain't never met no nigga from Lubbock, Texas. But I'm pretty sure there's a good amount of black folks there. But something does not strike me right. And I don't know what it is, but something told me to go to Wikipedia. All right. %47% white as of the racial composition of 2020. 9% black. Okay. And that's going to include white Hispanics as well. I'll be damned. In 2019, Lubbock had a racial and ethnic makeup of 50% of non-Hispanic whites, 7% black, 0.3% Indians and Alaska Natives, 2.6% Asians, 0.1% Native Hawaiians or Pacific Islanders. The Hispanic and Latino American population is at 37%. Now, looking at this, I want to play this one more time because this doesn't sit right with me.
I'm darker than you.
Hopes to move to a new town. Still, Brady has a message for the classmates he'll leave behind.
I bleed the same blood as you do. We do the same classes together, and you still treat me differently because I'm darker than you? Why?
Antonia Hilton, NBC.
Why? All right, now let me go back to this. I'm looking at the 23-second mark somebody posted on Twitter. I'm looking at the stepfather. I'm looking at the mother.
We feel the racism here.
I just feel like it's blatant incompetence from the schools.
All right. That dude does not look like a black man. He could be, but I don't think he is. And from my analysis, just looking at this video, I'm not saying what's happening to this brother. It shouldn't be happening at all. But if he's saying why, I don't understand. I'm really, really, really starting to get some. I don't want to talk to my kids vibes from the mama. Because I'm looking at the daddy. The daddy don't look like they daddy. That does not look like their father. He might be a good dude, but that don't look like they dad at all. That looks like Fernando or some shit. I'm looking at this nigga right here.
We feel the racism here.
I just feel like it's blatant incompetence from the schools.
Over the last kind.
Together, and you still treat me differently because I'm darker than you? Why?
You should be answering that question to your child. You could tell that they haven't had no conversation about white supremacy and dealing with white folks and this, that, and the third, and race soldiers. You can clearly see that. That's a problem. Now, that doesn't excuse what happened at all. But I just want to point that out. And I'm looking at the mama for not addressing on having conversation. I know my mom, she would let us, as soon as we start really kind of talking about it, because, you know, we weren't necessarily bombarded with it. But when I went to my mom and said, hey, man, these folks is doing this or whatever. I remember when I went to California. And, you know, as a kid, you see things where you're like, okay, I got my white friends. I got all types of different friends, whatever the case may be. But you start seeing this shit as you get older. When you start getting into your adolescent stage, you start getting into, 10, 11, 12, 13 or whatever, even younger than that sometimes. When I went out to California, of all places, my uncle went to the military. My uncle had been to Nam. So every 5 years, he would get tested at the Agent Orange. He had to drive down to San Diego every 5 years. I spent 2 weeks in California I was getting out of 8th grade. So they flew me during the summer. I went down, I took a flight by myself. This had to been 97 when the Mystical Unpredictable album came out. Hold on, wait a minute. You know I got to do this, nigga. You know I got to do this. Oh, yeah, you know I got to do this. I forgot about him. You know I got to do this. I have to. I'd be wrong if I didn't do this, nigga. I got to. I forgot about this fucking album, man. I have to. I'd be wrong. So I went down to California. Had to been 97. That was before I was going into high school at South High. So we flew to Northern California, Sacramento. And then I think I stayed in Sacramento a couple of days. Drove down to LA, and LA kind of threw me off a little bit because it was just so nice, and I didn't really see no mosquitoes. I think we stayed overnight at some family's house in LA. I can't remember who they were, but they had bars on the outside of the door. You really couldn't tell much about the neighborhood because the neighborhood just looked amazing. It looked like the suburbs, but I don't know where. I think we was in South Central. I don't know where we was at, but it was bars on the outside of the door, and it was bars on the inside of the door, and it kind of messed me up. And I said, well, y'all got locks on the inside of the door? And they're like, yeah. Y'all ain't got that where you from? I'm like, no. I said, well, what if you forgot the key? How you gonna get outside the house if the house burned down or something like that? So it messed me up. They had bars on the outside of the door, and they had bars on the inside of the door in California, LA. I didn't really get to go nowhere in LA. We just stayed overnight. Driving all the way down to I'm talking about a drive. I'm talking about from Northern California to San Diego. This was a drive. San Diego was beautiful. We go down, we stay in a hotel. This was something that I noticed from race soldiers. When we get into the swimming pool of the hotel, I'm just a kid. I'm in the swimming pool. I'm probably like 13, 14 at the most. Man, look. My uncle, he's in the swimming pool with us. And I see some other kids that I want to play with. So I'm kind of in the swimming pool. I try to kind of walk towards them or whatever. All the white folks kind of move away from the pool. My uncle says they don't really want to play with you or whatever. So he kind of tells me, he beckons me. He's like, hey, kind of come this way or whatever. I ain't really know what was going on. But he understood. He been a nom. He been dealing with white supremacists a long time. And he grew up in the Jim Crow South. So he knew what was going on. He knew what was going on. So, you know, when I became an age, my mother used to talk to us about that kind of shit. They used to talk to us. She tell us that race soldiers don't change. Don't matter what the year is, they ain't changed. And I mean that sincerely. Race soldiers don't change. So it sounds like his mother didn't have no conversation. His mother did not have a conversation with him at all about that. You know that she definitely didn't play no Frances Cress Wells.
Castrated because of the white male fear of the black male was lynched and often castrated because of the white male fear of the black male's. The myth is the black male's extraordinary sexual capacity. So he was lynched by frightened white males who feared that if he ever got anywhere near the white women, that somehow the white male would be a Now,
well,
you want to add
now
to
his sexual capacity.
Now, Donahue's kind of talking to her from a nonchalant perspective. Like, oh, can you re-explain this again or whatever? Dr. Frances Cress Weldon was probably one of the most brilliant minds. I'm not even going to say psychiatrist. I'm going to say one of the most brilliant minds that was ever on the planet. Where she basically called it out for what it is. This is fear. This is genetic annihilation. And just like the foreign white lady said earlier in a couple of the audio clips that I passed, she's talking about the same thing. This probably was in the 90s, maybe the mid-90s on the Donahue show. I'm not exactly sure when, but I'm assuming it's in the mid-90s. Could be in the early 90s.
What are we talking about? I say that the fear is that the black male can cause white genetic annihilation. And this is why the attack on the genitals, there's no history in the world of any non-white men attacking white men's genitals. But why do white men feel the need to zero in on the black man's genitals and cut them off? Yeah. You see, and a lot of this is played out in symbolic behavior in this culture. For example, the culture says, keep your eye on the ball.
Yeah.
Now, wait a minute. Look at something that,
I get there to this one second.
See, look at something that people do not look at. Look at the game of billiards. See, the psychiatrist knows that through games we play out
Subconscious
activity.
Yes, they do.
Okay, now look at this game. Here's a game with colored balls.
Yes.
All over the table.
And guess who gets to shoot the ball?
The white ball knocks all the colored balls under the table.
Genius. You remember when Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, I should do an analysis of that. I don't even know if I can analyze Dr. Francis Cress Welsing. Let me leave that alone. Let me not do that. The Dr. Francis Cress Welding versus the Dr. Shockley debate. Toe tag that dude. He kept hitting him with this Pioneer Fund eugenics stuff. He was nothing but just a decorated Duffy. You know what I'm saying? He was a eugenicist. He's like Bill Gates. He didn't know shit. He used the bell curve and all that kind of garbage. Man, listen. Now, here's something. This is from the Atlanta Black Star. I followed this for a while. There was another case, I think, in Pennsylvania about this young brother. I might have to dig this up real quick. But there was an instructor charged with manslaughter in the drowning death of a Georgia boy. Izzy Scott died during a second swimming lesson. This was published December 31st. An instructor responsible for caring for a 4-year-old boy who died during his second day of swim class has been charged in connection to his death. Lexi Tuhezen told investigators she did not know how Israel Scott drowned while she was wrapping up the class in a private pool near Augusta, Georgia. Man, how do you not know? You're an instructor. You're supposed to make sure that all those children are safe coming out of that pool. However, Jared T. Williams, district attorney for the Augusta Judicial Circuit, told the boy's family this week he has filed charges against the instructor for involuntary manslaughter. Since the local authorities declined to press charges against Tenhusen in July, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation will issue the arrest warrant. Man, this is so sad. I'm looking at this little brother, man. This shit just breaks my heart. This is terrible. Izzy Scott is not a case. He is not a file on the desk, nor an article in the news, Williams said in a statement. He is a child whose loss has broken the heart of our community. He is a symbol of how we cherish our little ones and hold them tight. Izzy's mother, Dory Scott, said she told Atlanta Black Star in a July interview that the boy's older sister had taken swim classes with the traveling instructor years before she signed up with her son. Parents were required to stay in their vehicles during the lesson, so he didn't know that Izzy had to be pulled out of the pool's deep end until another woman alerted her. A nurse's quick thinking and life-saving efforts did not save the boy, she later found out. So now my child ain't going in that establishment. Especially with some white folks I don't know. That ain't happening. Let alone anybody else. I'm going in. It says one of the 9 other students in the class told the Burke County Sheriff's Office he saw Izzy get out of the pool after they were instructed to do a final lap, but he heard a splash 10 seconds later. However, Tenhusen said she made sure all of the children exited the pool before she got out. According to the sheriff's report, she was greeting parents walking in for the next class when her granddaughter discovered Izzy at the bottom of the pool while pulling the vacuum out ahead of the next class. That doesn't make sense. That ain't gonna cut it. Witnesses said she immediately jumped in and pulled him out of the water, according to the sheriff's report. Nancy Hillis, a nurse who also brought her child for lessons that day, stepped in to perform CPR. He was pronounced dead later at a nearby hospital. 4 years old, man. Izzy's aunt, Lydia Glover Fields, said another student mentioned that he was coughing and throwing up that first day of class, but Tenhusen did not tell his mother. Mason Washington, the student who heard the splash after the final lap, said Izzy had gotten on the diving board on the first day. Dory Scott said her family was disheartened over the holidays, experiencing their first Christmas without Izzy. Man, fuck Christmas. Fuck about Christmas, nigga. Your child is gone. She could face up to 12 months in prison. I'm not even going to finish. I'm so disgusted. I'm not even going to finish the rest of this fucking article, dude. I sent this. I sent this and Walters, bunch of silly Negroes crying over Walters. She was real. She listened to her tone.
Has been moving toward integration, equal rights.
Equal rights, integration, colder ice. Real funny style tone here with the minister.
You don't want integration. You want separate schools and, if possible, a separate territory in this country.
Out of all places that she asked this man questions, New York, one of the most racist states in the fucking union. One of the most segregated states in the damn union, you ask this man this damn question.
Or in Africa.
Separation is not the main goal. That is the goal. If we cannot get along in peace, then we have to separate. Like two married people who have tried to live together and have irreconcilable differences. They go before a judge and there's a settlement and there's alimony.
And you want reparations like alimony?
Yes.
To every African American? You want money paid to every African?
You damn right, because my great-great ancestors and my great-great-grandmothers and grandfathers and aunts and uncles and all of them worked and were not paid to build this economy in which we call the stock market and etc. You damn right. We want reparations. We don't want no collard greens. We don't want no chicken sandwich. We don't want a haircut. We don't want an abortion. We don't want no intersectionality. We want tangibles. We want cash payments. We want judges, district attorneys, and race soldiers to go do life sentences. And I want my bank account big and fat with a whole bunch of land so I could plant my own collard greens and my own mule. Yes, I do.
An American?
Why should not America do something to repair the damage that has been done to black people for over 400 years of oppression?
By giving everyone money?
Not money.
By giving everyone money? See, y'all didn't know this about Walters. Oh, we bringing the receipts? Y'all didn't know about this little funny time stuff she pulled by giving everyone money. Ukrainians are getting money. They're not giving them collard greens. What do Ukrainians eat? What's a Ukrainian dish? Let's look at this. What's a Ukrainian dish, nigga? What's a Ukrainian dish? Is it borscht? Borscht? I think that's Russian. Hold on. What's a typical Ukrainian food? Yeah, it is borscht. Hold on, it is. Shout out to the borscht. Hold on, it is borscht. It's borscht, vinkruf, halubi, chicken kyiv, banish, and shuf. Hold on, wait a minute. Hold on. How do you say? I don't even know how you say this shit. Borscht. All right, let's say, what is a borscht?
Hi everyone, and welcome back to my kitchen. Today I have a very special dinner recipe for you guys, and this one is straight off the cover of my brand new cookbook, Beyond Borscht. Today I'm going to make in the star dish of this cookbook my classic beef borscht recipe, and this recipe has been in family for decades.
Is beet soup? Okay, now this is some white lady with red hair. Let me go to a real Ukrainian, damn it.
I believe that if we save food, if we save the quality and system of
different, and so the taste too. At the national level, the element is recognized as a part of culture, as the culture of cooking borscht is perceived as a part of the national heritage. This is the first time in the Ukrainian history of submitting an element to the national list.
So they got
when
carrots?
all Ukrainian elements is included, not addition of Ukraine the professional.
Masterclass all around Ukraine.
Okay, no, let me find some borscht.
Hi everyone, it's Natasha of Saute for 10 minutes, stirring occasionally until the beets are softened. Now add 4 cups of low sodium chicken broth, then transfer to the...
This don't look good, man.
Delicious.
Okay, here we go.
Oh. This does not look good. Real bush. Okay, let me find some more bush.
You know, bush is the best meal ever. If you come to Ukraine, that is the thing you just have to try.
Oh, shit. Oh, fuck. Oh, man. Yo, man. That's what I'm saying. Oh, gosh. Oh, my goodness, man. Stop it.
Fool and his money will soon part. If you gave our people with their mentality today $20,000, $40,000, $100,000, it would go right back out of our community tomorrow. But if we are allowed land and money, a way to become economically self-sufficient, to do for ourselves, to build homes, to build factories, then we would say America is beginning to repair the damage.
You have had great success with many of the Nation of Islam men as security guards in your own project.
Now, what she was getting, I didn't see the rest of the audio because somebody didn't post it. It was only 1 minute and 42 seconds. But, it sounded like she was getting ready to go into, well, hey, Farrakhan, you know, you have made this money here and you made this money there, and you know, why are you so concerned about it, this, that, and the third? Why? Like, no. They don't do that to anybody else. I smell smoke. I smell smoke, man. Jeez. Uh-oh. Listen to this. Oh, we got to play this.
Uncensored, a crackdown on Haitian immigrants could seriously mess. And welcome back to The Factor. Uncensored, a crackdown on Haitian immigrants could seriously mess up your trip to the Dominican Republic if it's all true. The U.S. Embassy there is officially putting out a warning for dark-skinned black travelers. According to the embassy, the country's migration agents could mistake black Americans or other people with dark skin tones for Haitian immigrants. And if you leave your passport at the resort, you could even be detained. My next guest here on The Factor Uncensored, Fox 26 photographer Tori Walker and attorney Dennis Sperling. Both of them spend regular time in the Dominican Republic. Glad to have you both here. So, Tori, when you heard this, you and I talked over the weekend, and you didn't put much weight into it because you know what the complexion of that country is. So your thoughts on this?
Well, most of their dollars come from tourism, you know, people coming in to vacation there. So to do anything that would hurt that, I think, would be counterproductive to, you know, the way that they make their money. So I just don't put too much credence into it.
And Dennis, you spend a lot of time there as well. And when you hear that they may be going after dark-skinned individuals because they don't want Haitians in that country, that crosses a line into intra-racial racism.
Right.
So your thoughts on that?
Well, you know, Isaiah, usually I come here and I'm able to have fun and talk to you and your audience, but, you know, this is a very serious issue. And as a black American, as a foundational black American, I don't want to put myself into the lived experiences of either a Haitian person, a citizen, or a Dominican citizen. Now, I lived in the Dominican Republic. I've watched the news there. I've interacted with folks from there. I understand that there's a lot of history that goes on between these two countries. Mm-hmm. They fought wars against each other. There's sports competition. But on top of that, if you watch the news, there's a lot of bad press about Haitian immigrants. I saw a news report where, and this is several years back, where a young Dominican woman had her arms cut off by a Haitian man who she rebuffed his advances. There are stories that go around the countryside where, you know, the immigrants come there and then get jobs and they end up killing the people in the fincas or the Dominican owners of the property. So there's a lot that we don't know. But the main thing is, as a foundational black American, It's not my job as an American. It's not my job to be the police of the rest of the world. We tried that. It didn't work. We have issues here in the United States. We're concerned. We got 18 people who died right here in Harris County.
We have a lot of issues. We have a Sambo problem. We have a race soldier problem. We have a cultural problem where we got Sambo niggas from different parts of the diaspora that's speaking against the foundationals, i.e. Akon. You know, we have our own problems here in the United States. We really do.
In the lockup over the last 2 years. So we have our own issues as Black Americans that we need to deal with. And the thing is, I haven't received any outreach from any Haitians. I don't see them opening up their borders and allowing us to become citizens, dual citizens of their country. Same thing for our African countries. They're not extending these arms to us. And I'm gonna tell you this, since the George Floyd incident, what I found is that Black Americans, our hearts have gone a little bit colder because we realized that there's no outlet for us and we're in it on our own. And anything that we achieved in this country, we fought for it. Yeah, there is racism. There's intra-racism in South America, Central America, and the Caribbean. We dealt with that here in the United States. But the thing is, as foundational Black Americans, as those Black Americans who can trace our roots to Mississippi, Alabama, and these tobacco farms in North Carolina, we stayed and we fought. We didn't run.
We didn't flee. We didn't fucking flee. And that's the whole point that people need to understand around the world. The descendants of the slaves that made the United States what it was. Benjamin Banneker, Crispus Attucks, 1776, the first Black man that was killed in the Revolutionary War. Yeah, we're genetically African. Yes, we are. We are of the motherland. But we're a new engineered nigga. I hate to say it that way. We a new engineered nigga. We is the American nigga. We the American niggas, man. Yeah, I know we originally from Africa. Yeah, we may be the original Hebrews, Israelites, whatever, but we the American nigga. We here on this soil that we built and didn't get paid for. We didn't get compensated. And we didn't flee. There was nowhere for us to go. See, everyone else in other countries, they flee. They come right here. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, nigga. You come to reap the benefits off of what my great-great-great-grandmama built, nigga. Shout out to Akon. Shout out to Busta Rhymes for saying we ain't got no culture. Nigga, we are the culture. We built America. We are the fucking culture. Don't you forget that. See, we got, you got cousins. You got your cousins, you got your family members. This is a family discussion. We have to straighten it out. You got certain family members. You got certain people in your family where you got some niggas you be like, all right, that's family. I don't fuck with fam. That nigga a cornball. He likes to flee. He don't ever stand up when it's time to go to war. But it's still your family. You might have some nigga 2-3 blocks down that says, yeah, I'm gonna slap the shit out your cousin. No, you ain't. No, you ain't, nigga. I might be able to slap him, but no, you ain't. You see what I'm saying? It's family discussion. It's got to be some straightening. It has to be some straightening. We gonna get it together. But no, this brother's telling the truth. Black folks in outreach pretty much everywhere when it comes to stuff. Like, truth be told, some people might get mad if I say this, but ever since they was kicking the Africans out of China, I ain't bought no chicken fried rice anywhere. For real. No hair weave. I told my wife, no, we ain't shopping with them. No. Not until y'all start showing a two-way street. When they was deporting the Africans from China, I remember a couple years ago and all that, and then all of a sudden it's, anti-black, anti-Asian crime bill and all that. And I'm like, hey, we didn't give y'all hurry up and buy chicken fried rye. No, I'm not supporting none of that. Ain't no chicken fried rye, ain't no hair weave. No. I ain't spent $1 until y'all straighten up with them Africans out there. Because the thing is, I know that if I was over there, y'all be doing the same thing to me.
We didn't try to go to someone else's country illegally. We stayed and we fought and we made this country what it is for us. And
Damn
now
right.
You have folks coming over and doing that. But what you benefit here in the United States, that's from the hard work. It's illegal to racially profile someone in the United States. It's illegal for a cop to do that. That's a luxury of the United States, due largely in part to the hard work of foundational Black Americans. So that's
what has
really
been your experience there when you have gone there? Because obviously, while this is an alert from the U.S. Embassy there, it's been tension going on for quite some time.
Yeah.
So what has been your experience when you visit the Dominican Republic?
When I go there, I mainly hang with people that look like me. So I hadn't had any issues whatsoever any of my times there.
Is it possible that some of that could go on because you're not privy and you're not from there?
Oh, I'm sure it does. Yes, I've heard of it, and I'm sure it does. They're pretty harsh against Haitians in that country. That's just.
And you know what? Here's the thing, and I forget this a lot. The Dominican Republic and Haiti is on one island, right? Hold on, let's pull up Google real quick. Let's pull up Google real quick. Let's pull up Google. All right. So, now think about this. I went to Puerto Rico many years ago. Great country. So I'm looking at, okay, so you got Florida, okay, you got Bahamas, Cayman Islands down here, Jamaica, Cuba, Turks and Caicos, British, okay, Antigua, Bermuda, Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago, Grenada, Aruba. Okay, so I'm looking, okay, it's on one damn island. It's one island. It's one island, man. And there's a dividing line of probably color. And then now you had the Dominican Republic, Santo Domingo. Okay? So, what I'm saying is these are black folks. I'm assuming that DR is like, okay, y'all some niggas, y'all some dark skinned niggas. I don't want to fuck with you. So y'all got to get that together down there, man. I'm looking at Port-au-Prince right here. I'm looking at the pictures and stuff. Pictures don't do you no damn justice. But what I'm saying is these are dark skinned black people. These are beautiful islands. Beautiful islands. And the French is probably still mad about that ass kicking that Haiti did back in 1804. Shout out to Tariq Nasheed for putting out that beautiful documentary. None of the bought and paid for Congressional Black Caucus Negroes or the Boule Negroes wouldn't do it. So shout out to him. So y'all got to get that together, man. Y'all got to get that together over there.
Would you guys advise any Americans to continue to go there, or would you say, right, let's just take a pause and see what happens?
I'm not changing my plans.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Just like I know you're a black American, or I can look at you and tell, I can look at my Nigerian brothers and Ghanaian brothers and Haitian, I can look at you and tell that you from around here. You understand what I'm saying?
They can tell by the way you walk.
They can tell. They got a different language, a different culture.
Energy. Foundational energy. When you step into different places, folks can tell your energy. They just know. It's an energy. They know.
Culture, they have different ways in which they communicate, they know each other. That is not our fight. That is something that exists between Haiti and the Dominican Republic.
Yes.
And those governments need to work that out. Americans, I've never had any issues.
But would you recommend someone going there if that's not because we could be caught in the middle of it?
Get your passport,
But you're saying they would recognize us.
You are going to be you're going to be in Punta Cana. You're going to be on the North Coast in Puerto Plata, Sosúa. You're going to be in Santo Domingo. This is not your fight. They know you're American by your T-shirt.
And your recommendation for Americans?
I say go.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So they only tell black people that. The white folks they just let them in. I don't like that. I don't like that. They tell black people you shouldn't go here and you shouldn't go there. It could be dangerous and they let the white folks in. They let the Chinese in. They let the white folks just come in and just do anything. And we're going back to this nigga. Now, remember, this nigga jumps up and says, Akon jumps up and says he was closer to Puerto Ricans than he was to black Americans, and says his issue with black Americans was that they joked on him for being dark as kids. That's that old bullshit African, I was called an African booty scratcher complex and all that crap. But Fat Joe publicly joked on him for being dark as an adult, and he's cool with Fat Joe. So how do you explain that? Hold on, let me pause the shook ones. Listen to this nigga. Listen to this shit.
So I was living in the Heights. So I was raised by more Puerto Ricans than blacks when I was in Jersey, because ultimately it seemed like it was just a different feeling. And then the Latin culture was more closer to me at that moment.
Because it seems like you deified their complexion. That's what that sounds like to me. Let's let them talk. Hold on, it's buffering. Wait a minute. Let's let them, hold on. Let's open it back up. See if it'll.
So I was raised by more Puerto Ricans than blacks when I was in Jersey, because ultimately it seemed like it was just a different feeling. And then the Latin culture was more closer to me at that moment because of my African roots and everything. We had so much in common. Whereas when I was, in the hood, it was a little different because I was always the blackest one there. And at that time, black wasn't really in style. So, they'd be joning on you, cracking jokes just for being black.
Stop tripping, that pussy got a nigga hard. In the Amex car, blacker than my nigga Con.
Blacker than my nigga Con. Then you see a picture of him shaking up with Fat Joe. He said, blacker than my nigga Con. You see what I'm saying? Think about that. What's the real issue, cornball? It's looking real corny, brother. It's looking really, really corny. It's not looking good. It's not looking good. Now, here's another thing that I just seen from the New York Times. They're talking about, it's making me subscribe. But it was talking about abortion pills are now going to be offered at retail pharmacies. So now you won't have to go to Planned Parenthood, Margaret Sanger's house. You can just butcher your babies a different way. So I found out, a lot of these news outlets, y'all probably don't know, but they copy and paste and take stuff from a lot of scholarly articles and doctor it up. And then what they do is they just post it and they make you subscribe to it. So January 4th, 2023, 2 days ago, the U.S. and Food and Drug Administration finalized a regulatory change on Tuesday that allows retail pharmacies to offer abortion pills. Before now, patients could only get this 2 drug medications through clinics, doctors, and a handful of mail-order pharmacies. 2 companies that make the medication, Danco Laboratories and GenBioPro, announced the news that they were notified by the FDA of the change. Quote, at a time when people across the country are struggling to obtain abortion care services, this modification is critically important to expanding access to medication abortion services and will provide healthcare providers with an additional method for providing their patients with a safe and effective option for ending early pregnancy, Danko said in a statement. Quote, today's FDA announcement expands access to medications that are essential for reproductive autonomy, however the hell you spell it. Shit. It's a step in the right direction that is especially needed to increase access to abortion care. See, that's how you know I haven't been reading enough. Autonomy. I think that's how you say it. You got to make sure you read a book a month, y'all. GenBio Pro CEO Evan Mazengill, which makes a generic version of mifepristone, told the New York Times, see? Mifepristone is the first pill used in the abortion regimen, followed by misoprostol, which already had fewer restrictions. While mifepristone blocks a hormone the body needs for pregnancy to develop, taking misoprostol about 24 to 48 hours later causes contractions. Okay, so we're looking at two different drugs. Misoprostol is also used to treat many other medical conditions. Mifepristone is only approved for abortion, but is also used to treat some miscarriages. Dozens of organizations, including medical groups, have petitioned the FDA to make the drug easier to access for miscarriages, the Times reported. Wow. Very interesting. This was at Lowell General ORG. So the New York Times charges you. You can get probably even more information from this one. Here's another one. And I think I'll cover this another time, but Essence quoted this where facial recognition error led to wrongful arrest of innocent black men. An algorithm sent a Georgia man to jail for crimes in Louisiana, a state he never visited, and renewed criticism of the technology when it comes to identifying people of color. Now, this people of color stuff, I'm going to diminish that right away. Identifying black folks. Let's change the narrative and change the vocabulary. That's bullshit. This is a black man that was arrested in Louisiana. And then they want to talk about people of color. We're not talking about people of color. We're talking about black men. The use of facial recognition technology by Louisiana authorities resulted in the mistaken arrest of a Georgia man on a fugitive warrant, the Times Picayune New Orleans Advocate reports. So this is another case that I told you that is just a repost. They repost what another news outlet reports. Randall Reed, 28, was arrested in DeKalb County, Georgia on November 25th after authorities misidentified him as a purse thief. A purse thief? Really? Wanted for crimes in Jefferson Parish and Baton Rouge. Now he said, they told me I had a warrant out of Jefferson Parish. I said, what is Jefferson Parish? Reed said, I have never been to Louisiana a day in my life. Then they told me it was for theft. So not only have I not been to Louisiana, but I also don't steal. Now I want y'all to really think about that for a moment. As far as I'm concerned, that's an abduction. There's no probable cause. This was gone off of an algorithm. That's not probable cause. That's I'm white and I say so all the way. This is the epitome of I'm white and I say so. He was released on December 1st after authorities recognized their error. Okay, so he was arrested November 25th and he was released December 1st. Reed is black and his arrest brings renewed attention to the use of the technology the critics say leads to higher cases of misidentification of people of color. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. Misidentification, we can't use that narrative. Well, this algorithm found the wrong person, whatever. No, you need to make sure you have the right damn person. His lawyer, Tommy Caligaro, said that Reed had wrongly been implicated in the theft of pricey handbags, so some dusty ass nigga was stealing purses from a consignment store in June in Metairie, a New Orleans suburb in Jefferson Parish. Over 3 days, the thieves had stolen designer handbags from Louis Vuitton and Chanel worth 10 grand. This is embarrassing, man. It's unfortunate what happened to that brother. It's really, really, really unfortunate what happened to that brother, man. Oh. So I'm going to have to read this. But before we do, we're going to get ready to wrap it up here. Before we do, okay, what do we got here? Now listen to this. Listen to this.
Why, Daddy?
Talk to your mama. Talk to your mama. Don't talk to me. Talk to your mama. Say everything why your mama wanted more money and she told she wanted child support. And she think I'm gonna continue to do for y'all? Nah, that shit dead. Talk to your mama. Don't call me for nothing. Y'all don't even have to call me no more. Talk to your mama. Not me. Deal with your mama. Now call your mama and talk to your mama about it. Ask her why she did what she did. And that'll explain why I did what I did. Now, I will not be coming to get y'all no more. Yes, I am home. I'm not coming to get y'all no more. Talk to your mama. She don't care about how y'all feel. She don't care about the kid that's home. So, that shit. I'm not coming no more.
Play that again one more time.
Why, Daddy?
Talk to your mama. Talk to your mama. Don't talk to me. Talk to your mama. Say everything why your mama wanted more money and she told she wanted child support. And she think I'm gonna continue to do for y'all? Nah, that shit dead. Talk to your mama. Don't call me for nothing.
I can't play this anymore. I have a dusty Negro alert. I have a no tolerance policy for dusty ass niggas. Y'all know how I get down. Race soldiers, serial hood hitters, dusty ass niggas like the one that raped that child over in Maplewood kind of around my way. I ain't got no tolerance for the dusty bum ass nigga that shot through the doors that almost killed that black child right over there a couple blocks off of over there by Taco Bell over south, right off of Franklin. Y'all think I'm gonna cap? Well, police brutality, man. Hell no. You almost killed some young black kids, nigga. You don't get no sympathy from me. They could have filled you with 160,000 fucking bullets in your brain. I don't give a fuck. I have a zero tolerance for that fuck shit. None. I don't give no tolerance for it whatsoever. That's the only time that, if you get a race soldier that beats you the fuck up or shoots the shit out of you after you done killed or raped some kids, nigga, please. Nigga, please. I'm not gonna be the Mother Teresa for you, nigga. You crazy? You don't get no support. I don't really give a damn what happens to your ass. I have an anti-dusty Negro policy on the Bagland podcast, and everybody that listens to me knows that. Now, this nigga's been put on child support. I think it was Dr. Boyce Watkins that posted this. It was something on TikTok. Y'all know how I feel about TikTok, but they do have some information that we could use. Now, the post was basically, we didn't see the full thing, so the baby mama might have probably just posted it to show to the world. I don't really know what she was trying to do. But the thing is he said, I'm not coming to get y'all. Your mom raised up the child support, whatever the case may be, whatever. So we don't really get to see the entire video. So you had a couple little beta dusty ass niggas that was getting on, going through some of the comments saying, well, why would she post it? Or, that. Well, the thing is the child was crying. He's like, why, Daddy? Why y'all ain't picking me up? Man, I'm going to get custody of my kids. You raise that child support, bitch, I'm getting custody of my kids. And they boys too, I'm getting custody of them. I'm going to work it out in the courts. I'm not going to call my son up and basically say, I'm not coming to get you because the child support got raised and all that old hoe ass shit. Anybody listening to my program and listening to my broadcast and subscribes to me knows, listen, I have a zero tolerance on that type of shit. No. Not happening. You're mad because she raised child support. I get it. All right. So what are you supposed to do, nigga? What are you supposed to do as an alpha man? You're not supposed to tuck your tail like a yellow-bellied bastard and call your sons and tell them, I'm not coming to get you anymore. What you do is you show an example. Yeah, you're mad at your baby mama because she raised your child support. Okay, guess what? She's going to feel sorry, because you got to keep in mind, we got to look in the pecking order. She's going to feel sorry for letting you go once you start really getting your paper up. She might be mad, but the thing is she's going to look at that and be like, well, damn, I shouldn't have did this nigga this way. Whatever you're saying that she done did. But calling up and saying, I ain't going to come get you no more, whatever. No, nigga, that ain't an option. You're feeding your children to the wolves. You see what I'm saying? That's a higher probability of putting your kids in conditions like the brother in Ohio. A lot of these race soldiers, believe it or not, they do intelligence on us. They know that our kids don't have fathers in the homes. The big ass polypachyderm, the chick that brought her kid to like I think it was it wasn't soccer, it was like tennis. I think it was a tennis thing where she brought her kid to all them, to that police. She brought her kid to a bunch of, it was a bunch of police up there. She knew it was going to be a bunch of police up there, and they roughed them up. And then she got up there looking like a big fat ass wildebeest, talking about, well, she didn't know they were going to do this and do that and that. Man, you're in 2023. You don't put your trust in the police department to leave your kids in their custody. They're not there to be a damn babysitter. You know your child has autism, so you're not gonna bring them and just leave them there. It's not like you know these police by name and their phone number. You don't know them personally. These ain't your cousins. This ain't your uncle. This ain't your uncle's friend. This ain't in-laws. You don't know these police officers. You know how they deal with black folk. And you notice when you look on the news media, you don't see a man there. Where is his father? Where is his fucking? Okay, his father ain't there. He knocked your fat ass up. Okay, where's his uncle? You're not seeing no masculine energy within the diaphragm of the conversation. We need more of that, because a lot of times they'll be like, well, he got a daddy. I mean, he still might, the race soldier still might knock you down, but you're just not seeing them in the narrative. You're seeing the intersectionality, single mother, woe is me, hood rat perspective. You're not seeing any other damn perspective out here like that when they start interviewing these Negroes. And then when you do, you see a situation like I covered earlier, where you got this Mexican dude in Lubbock, Texas, talking about, oh, racism and that, and the mama ain't talking to her kids about racism at all. The kid says, well, I don't understand. Okay, he's 13 years old. He's being targeted. In Lubbock, Texas, he's being targeted. The superintendent is pretty much letting it go. Let the violation of the Constitution just go all hell. And the mama got black kids. But she went immediately and got let's keep it real. I hate to say this, but she probably got a complex about herself, like, okay, I'm a little sloppy. Let me go and get Fernando. Let me get a beaner. That's what it sounds like to me. You got somebody that can't even fucking relate. Because obviously you ain't talking to your kids about this shit. You dig? So, I don't know. Her stepdad. He said his stepdad in Lubbock, Texas. I seen the nigga. I'm like, this nigga looked like he would cook a burrito quick as hell. This nigga looked like he would cook a burrito quick as hell. So, I'm just seeing this from that perspective, man. I'm seeing this a lot. I'm seeing every time I see I get on the news. Where's the boy's father? I don't see him. Where's the nigga's father? I grew up in South Minneapolis, in the Cedar Riverside, River Bluff area. You didn't see a lot of niggas with they pops, man. it was about 30 to 50 niggas where I never met they dads like that. It was a few niggas I knew where I met they pops. This shit ain't cool. I'm telling you. It's not. It's not. So, I don't know. Facial recognition. Let me see if I could find the audio here. Is this it here? Oh, this is funny. Oh, this is funny. Hold on. This is funny. This is great parenting right here. Now, on the flip side, we're talking about parents. This is great parenting right here. This is this little corny-ass white dude. He sits in a house and plays video games. This nigga look like he's at least 18 to 20-something years old.
Pick up what you get. Please. This cost me like hundreds of dollars.
He said, Dad, this costs like hundreds of dollars. He get down. His dad took all the video games. He took Xbox. This shit looked like it might be something older. He took all the video games and put it on the. He put it in the middle of the yard. Now, you know me. I like to analyze shit. This is a big ass yard. His dad got a little paper. He done spoiled his son to death. He done spoiled this nigga to death. He's had it. He's had it. He has had it.
Pick up what you get. Please. This cost me like hundreds of dollars. It's expensive. I don't care. You got to get a job.
He said, you got to get a job, Billy.
What does this achieve? What does this achieve?
What does this achieve? Okay, we'll see what this achieves, Billy Bob Rittenhouse.
What is this going to do? Mowing my game zone. Maybe you'll quit playing for a while, get a job, pay some...
He said, maybe you'll get a job, pay some bills.
...your bill. I'm never going to quit playing.
He backed up when he seen that big ass lawnmower. This nigga screaming like it's color purple. Hold on, let me play this again.
What is this gonna do? Mowing my game zone. Maybe you'll quit playing for a while, get a job, pay some of your bills. I'm never gonna quit playing.
Oh man, he cried. His soul screamed. Oh, he's so lame. Oh, that kid's so fucking lame. You know what I'm saying? You got to be careful. And then look at this here. Listen to this. Hold on. Damn. It ain't playing? Landlords are no longer accepting vouchers? Hold on. Wait a minute. Oh, yeah, this is once again. Yeah, Akon. You ain't got this in Senegal, nigga. DJ Fresh. Yeah. Niggas talking that bullshit, talking about American blacks can't rap and they be holding their balls or whatever on the stage. Man, I wouldn't even said nothing. I wouldn't have said a damn word. I'm telling you, the coon class has really been enlarged in effect. Okay, hold on. We got to find this. Wait a minute. We got to find this. Wait a minute. Somebody sent me a Python script. I'm talking about a boa constrictor. Okay, let's see here. Damn, man. Damn. Let's see if we can find it online. Mole Lightfoot. Let's see if Lightfoot. I'm telling you, black folks was out there in Chicago talking about Lightfoot. Oh, here we go.
Lightfoot calling on the state today to help support migrants arriving in Chicago.
And this afternoon, the mayor sat down exclusively with WGN's Courtney Spinelli to talk about her push for funding and the challenges facing the city and its new neighbors. Courtney.
Yeah, good evening. Mayor Lightfoot penned a letter to state legislators asking for nearly $54 million for
$54 million. That's too much money.
This is an incredibly fluid situation.
Finally, some transparency from the city about what's really going on at the old Wadsworth Elementary School in Woodlawn.
We've done everything from installing toilets to elevator repair, furnace and heater repairs, to just general facility cleaning.
And when have they ever did that for black folks? They could have did that for the people before the migrants even showed up.
All things CBS 2 told you was happening months ago, but the mayor's office repeatedly denied this construction was to create a temporary shelter for asylum seekers. CPS told us it was routine maintenance work. But now,
our ideal target start date there is January 6th.
Less than a week and a half from now, the plan is to move in nearly 150 migrants, likely single men and women. So what happened?
We had this conversation about Wadsworth, and then suddenly the conversation stopped. And I want to clear up the reason behind that.
That rep from the mayor's office said migrant arrivals decreased for a while, but now they may ramp up again. The city's current emergency migrant shelters are above capacity.
We're really stretching the limits of what they can handle right now.
What exact vetting process is being done?
The seemingly done deal stunned residents.
There are other places that you guys could have done this with.
We want real transparency.
Did you call us here to find out what we wanted, or did you call us here to tell us what you're going to give us?
Again, the city.
Oh, yep. And okay, now let's go to. Let me find this. I'm gonna find that. Yeah, there were some people on the street. Hold on, let's see. Let me find this. There's some folks on the street. Let me find this. Hold on. Oh, yeah, here we go.
I am a child of Woodlawn. I was born and raised in Woodlawn. And I'm speaking on behalf of the people that are here and the ones that's not here, the ones that's at work and couldn't make it here. We are very disappointed in this decision that Mayor Lightfoot has made to place these migrants in our community without our permission. Shame. Mayor Lightfoot would never pull this type of thing in anyone's neighborhood. She would not drop off a busload of Haitians in Little Village. She would not drop off a busload of black people in Chinatown. No. She would not drop off a busload of black people up north. Never. So it's time for Mayor Lightfoot to understand we will no longer be disrespected by you, ma'am. Please withdraw your decision to put the migrants in our community. There's plenty of room in Little Village for their people.
That's right. There's plenty of room, and what they're going to try to do is, if they raise enough hell down there in Woodlawn, they're going to try to put them in other places. And guess what? Black folks need to rally up and do the same thing. Put them somewhere else.
Please speak to Little Village and take them over there. We're not hating on anyone, but we're loving on Woodlawn. That's right. As well, we already are struggling with the issue of fentanyl in our communities. We don't need anything else to add to the struggles that we already have. If there is a lack of resources in our community, we don't need anyone else to come in and suck those up. That's right. We're tired, Miss Lightfoot. We're tired, and we will not be voting for you. Thank you.
And that's the whole thing. Don't vote for her ass. Chicago's drunk uncle, do not vote. Not at all. Well, we'll wrap it up, you guys. We'll see you pretty much, I'm thinking probably next week or something. I appreciate everybody for tuning in.